All right, let's dive into a massive mindset shift that, honestly, separates today's real market leaders from, well, everyone else. We're talking about the jump from chasing tiny incremental gains to actually engineering explosive exponential growth.
So, let me ask you something right off the bat. Are the digital changes you're making at your company truly transformational? Or are you just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic? It's a tough question, I know, but it's an absolutely crucial one for any business today.
Because if you're not careful, you fall into what's called the digital incrementalism trap. And this is a really dangerous place to be. It's where companies feel like they're innovating, but the reality is they're just on a slow, steady march toward becoming irrelevant.
And you can see the difference so clearly here. On one side, you've got the safe, comfortable plays, right? Automating a process that already exists, maybe adding a chatbot to your website, updating the mobile app. These things are fine, but they are not game changers. On the other side, though, whoa, that's where the magic happens. We're talking about challenging your entire business model and going after those huge exponential opportunities.
And that right there really gets to the heart of the problem. Pouring money into new tech without having the guts to actually rethink your business model, well, that's not transformation. You're just buying yourself a little more time until a bolder competitor comes along and completely rewrites the rules of the game.
So, how in the world do you escape this trap? Well, it all starts with a fundamental shift in how leaders think. It's about learning to chase multiples of growth, not just trying to shave a few percentage points off your margins.
The contrast between these two leadership styles is like night and day. You had the analog era leader who was basically playing a game of survival. Everything was about discipline, efficiency, small gains. But the modern algorithmic leader, they think in systems of scale and speed, and they are playing a completely different game. Their goal isn't just to survive, it's total market dominance.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. This is a proven philosophy from the best in the business. The founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, famously said he would only get involved with companies that had a growth model built right into their network. Businesses that were designed from day one to expand like crazy through their users, not just by pouring money into ads.
You know, the venture capital model shows us exactly why this big picture thinking is so critical. VCs know going in that most of their bets are going to fail completely or just barely break even. Their entire business model depends on a tiny number of massive home run wins, the ones that return multiples on their investment. The lesson here? You have to be willing to swing for the fences.
Hoffman actually took this idea and refined it into this incredibly powerful strategy he calls blitzscaling. You should think of it as a mandate, really, for any company that wants to dominate in the modern era, not just compete. So what is blitzscaling exactly? In a nutshell, it's the art of prioritizing breakneck speed over perfect efficiency. The whole goal is to grow at a massive, massive scale, capture the market first, and then worry about cleaning up the mess and optimizing things later. So the race then becomes about this mad dash to leapfrog the normal growth path, to go straight from startup to scale up. In today's market, taking the slow and steady route is just too dangerous. That's where you get left in the dust.
Let that one sink in for a second. In this environment, the opportunity cost of moving too slowly can actually be more deadly than not growing at all, because you can be sure your competitors aren't waiting around for you to get your act together.
And why? Why is all this speed so non-negotiable? Well, it's because we now live and operate in a world of winner-takes-all markets.
This is the real reason. It's not just about business risk anymore. It's that the very structure of modern industries, built on data and algorithms, means that one, maybe two players end up with pretty much the entire pie. Coming in second place means you're a very distant second.
I mean, just look at Google search. It's the perfect example. They don't just have a lead. They have over 90% of the entire market. The other competitors are just a blip on the radar. That's what a winner-takes-all market looks like, and it's almost impossible to compete just by being a little bit better.
In these markets, scale becomes your defensive moat. It becomes this impenetrable wall. Think about it. Domino's uses AI to check every pizza for quality. Coca-Cola uses algorithms to make sure the taste is consistent everywhere in the world. The principle is always the same. The more data you have, the better your product gets. And that creates this virtuous cycle that makes it nearly impossible for smaller players to ever catch up.
So, okay, the million-dollar question. How do you actually build a business that's designed for this kind of exponential growth? The answer is you have to engineer a growth flywheel. And of course, the classic textbook example of this is Amazon. Their entire growth strategy, right from day one, was built around this concept of a self-reinforcing flywheel.
So check out how their flywheel works. It starts with having a wider selection of products. That, naturally, attracts more customers and more traffic. More traffic means more data, which Amazon uses to create better services and models. Those improved services attract even more third-party sellers, which, of course, leads to an even wider selection. You see? Each step relentlessly fuels the next in this powerful, self-accelerating loop.
And that's really the ultimate goal. You want to build your entire organization around this kind of reinforcing data loop. More data makes your model smarter. Smarter models make your product better. A better product brings in more users, who then generate even more data, and the cycle just keeps repeating, getting stronger and faster every single time.
And this is the ultimate payoff. You're making a fundamental shift from linear growth, that predictable, steady, straight line where 1 unit of input gets you 1 unit of output, to exponential growth. This is the J-curve. It's where every bit of input compounds, creating bigger and bigger outputs as your growth flywheel starts to gain unstoppable momentum.
So that leaves one last question, a question for you to think about for your own organization. Are you engineered for the slow, predictable, and frankly, vulnerable straight line? Or are you building for the explosive, market-dominating J-curve? Because honestly, the answer to that question is going to define your entire future.